Hello, my friend. Tony Stewart here. And as the title says, we've been talking about setting goals. We talked about yesterday the different areas of goal setting and so forth, the four or five, depending on which method that you use to determine what you want in each of those areas. And I hope you took the time to sit down and figure out what you want in each of those areas. So now you got all these goals, right? And it can be a bit overwhelming. As a matter of fact, you might be thinking, well, how do I work on all these goals at the same time? Well, the good news is you shouldn't. And there's another book that comes to mind, a book that I found very helpful. I got a hold of it a couple years ago, and it was written by Gary Keller. Now, Gary Keller is also known for the Keller Williams real estate uh, companies that are all over the world. And he wrote this book and had nothing to do with real estate. He's written real estate books before, but this book had absolutely nothing to do with real estate. It's called The One Thing. The One Thing. And the cover of it kind of looks like this. I have the Kindle version of it, so I can keep it on my phone. But hopefully you can see that. It's called The One Thing. Obviously, you can get it off of Amazon, or you can get it off of, where books are sold. But get this, and I'm going to say this slowly, and I'm going to dig in. Now, you might say, well, what does I got to do with setting my goal or figuring out what my major goal is? Well, he has one line in here, which I consider the line that um, makes all the difference. And let me see here. There it is. Okay, listen to this. What's the one thing I can do? Now, you're thinking about all your goals. You got all your goals in front of you, and you're saying, okay, which one should I make my major definite aim? Well, check this out. What's the one thing that I can do such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? Now, let me say that again. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Now, if you can figure out what that is, what that one goal is, what's that one thing? It could be in any of those categories, right? It could be in the fitness category, it could be in the relationship category, it could be in the financial category. But what's the one thing? If you got nothing else done but this one thing, which is why it's called the one thing, what would that one thing be that would lend itself to making all the other goals fall into place, or even making some of the goals that you figured out unnecessary? Let me read that statement one more time because I think it's key. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Think about that. You've written these goals, you figured out what it is, and this is all, success trait number one from Think and Grow Rich. You got to figure out what your desire is. But rather than being totally unfocused, focus stands for follow one course until it's successful. So you get focused and you figure out what that one thing is that you can work on that'll make everything else either easier to do or unnecessary. Well, I'm fired up about you getting a hold of that, thinking about that. And, it's interesting. As good as that book is, it's not one of the top five books. Because even in reading that book, and I encourage you to read that book, you've heard the number one thing that I got from it. That's phrase. Because if you think through that lens, it's going to lead you to make a decision and find out what that chief aim that you can focus in on to make happen. Inbox me. I'll give you those top five books. Today, think about what's the one thing? What's the central goal? What's the chief major aim that you have? And we'll talk about what you do with it tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Talk to you soon. Inbox me for the top five, and we'll see you later. Bye bye now.